hold on to something.
It's showtime.
No, wait. I have done everything I've been asked to do. I didn't understand it, but I've done it. And I haven't once asked what's in it for me.
What are you saying, Ray?
I'm saying, what's in it for me?
Raymond! Raymond, am I using you? Am I using you, Raymond?
This is the Total Sports Experience.
There's gonna be rumors about this. There's no way to stop it.
And now your host,
Ray, you in here?
Ray Baker.
I missed going 5-hole on you.
You should never be allowed to talk to people.
Dude, that was a hell of an intro. I am honored and I am touched.
What's up, everybody? On a Saturday afternoon, get you ready for UFC 257. What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Ray Baker. We are on location, in case you did not know that. We are in Fountain Valley, California. We are at the Mountain Mike's Pizza in Fountain Valley, California. 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, a full hour today. We're going to try to get our NHL insider, Christopher Sheffield, on the phone with us as well. As I continue to set levels, I apologize. Running a little late today, and I have a bone to pick with Apple. Why did you take away my headphone jack? So critical to all of us in broadcasting. So critical. You're killing me, you guys. 1 hour here today, a couple hours before the prelims start on UFC 257. 5 o'clock here on the West Coast, 8 o'clock Eastern on the East Coast. We are into Kentucky LSU right now, college basketball. We're checking that out as we broadcast here for you today as well. So check it out. We're going to be here today. We are going to be here tomorrow. Just checking some more levels. I did not have... I'm going to get the camera on in just a second so you guys can all see me as well. But... we're live here at, let me see if I can get you a camera. Oh, look at this. I got your camera right there. What's up, everybody? We're here at Mountain Mike's Pizza, Fountain Valley. Special thanks to Yvette and Nicole. Nicole is the manager here. She's amazing. She's been helping us out every time we come here. We do have a special for you guys today. If you're going to order a pizza, check out all the stuff scrolling on the bottom down here. If you order any large pizza today and you mention our show, you will get free garlic cheese sticks. It's the size of a small pizza, so 10 inches. Free cheese garlic sticks if you order any large pizza from our friends here at Mountain Mike's. Hey, let me get Nicole. Hey, Nicole, come over here. Nicole's here too. She won't be on camera because I put her on camera 2 weeks ago and she was mad at me. Are there the daily specials today too?
Yes, we also
okay.
do have our $5 off any mountain-sized pizza.
So $5 off any mountain-sized pizza. And 20% off pepperoni. Any pepperoni. The mountain-sized pizza, by the way, you guys, it is absurd. It is huge. It's not like a large pizza. It is a mountain-sized pizza. $5 off. And if you order one of those and you mention us, you get the free garlic sticks as well. 10-inch small pizza sized. It's amazing. So there's your stuff for today. A couple of things before we get going. I have to send some links out and everything like that so we can get Christopher Sheffield, the chef, on our program as well. If you joined us on Thursday night, we also did a little shout out to Western Governors University. So let me copy something here real quick, or I don't know. I'm going to do something here real quick and send this to. Give me 1 second. We're multitasking here, gang. Check this out. We're multitasking. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this if I can do this. Usually I have my kids do it, but I'm gonna screenshot this and send this to our buddy, our insider, what did he say? I'm gonna get what he said before. Hold on 1 second. All right, so I just sent him that to call in. He's gonna call in via the Zoom hotline, and we're gonna see if we get that. So. Couple things again. We've got LSU, Kentucky. Kentucky's out to a 5-4 lead in that basketball game. Kentucky's not what it used to be, 4-9 to start the season here. LSU though, killing it right now, 10-3 on the season, 5-2 in conference. So we've had a couple passings here, and we talked about this on Thursday. We talked about it last night when we were on with Santiago and Hot 103.9, the mix. we lost a couple. We lost Don Sutton about a week ago, or less than a week ago. Famous Dodger, fantastic guy. Really sad that the Dodger organization now, as we covered 2 weeks ago, when we had the passing of Tommy Lasorda. So Don Sutton has passed, and then another legend, if you will. I'm so sorry, gang. It's been a weird day. It's been a weird one today. This late start has thrown me off a little bit. Normally we start at noon. This 3 o'clock start throws me off. And I know what you're saying. Hey, you normally do your show at 6. I know. But it's Saturday. It's Saturday. Okay. So we lost Hank Aaron at the age of 86. And we talked about this on Friday about, there are certain things that you don't think they're going to happen, really, right? We never really think of, passing of people like that. So when we lost Tommy Lasorda, it was a big loss. Losing Hank Aaron, not only the home run king for decades, but simply just a fun guy, an ambassador for baseball. What we say at the end of every one of our shows, just a good human being. Just such a great guy, Hall of Famer. And so it's sad to lose Hank Aaron, and I share this memory. I shared this memory with the radio shows that I did yesterday. And I said, I remember watching sports highlights and watching Hank Aaron hit a home run, and as he's rounding third base, there are people that come out of the stands, and not to do any harm, but just want to be a part of the moment and pat the guy on the back and shake his hand and run from third to home with him. That's kind of what he did. Just an all-around amazing, great guy, and again, such an amazing ambassador for the sport of baseball. So unfortunately, we lost Hank Aaron. The other loss that we had, unfortunately, we heard about this morning, was the passing of Larry King, broadcasting icon. The guy changed interviewing. The guy changed what radio to television meant. The guy took a radio program and put it on television. The guy put CNN on the map. If you want to disagree with me, send me the text and disagree with me. But Larry King was an absolute broadcasting legend. GOAT, as we use in our stuff. That's what he was. So we lost Larry King, unfortunately, this morning as well. So some sad news to start this show. That's why I gave you the specials first, gang. Gave the specials to kind of cheer you up, brought you back down. Let's bring it back up. We're here at Mountain Mike's Pizza. We're live. We are on Facebook, Twitch, Mixcloud, YouTube Live. And again, for all of my Instagram fans that are on these channels, we're working on the Instagram thing. We have some technical stuff here with the boards and the phones, and if you could see how many wires and stuff we have here going on, it's a bit much. So there you go. So we're getting ready for UFC 257 that starts in a few hours. There was a couple of big trades, though. There was one big trade in the NHL that we wanted to delve in on first, because we talked a lot about some of the baseball stuff, and we didn't talk a whole lot. We haven't talked a whole lot of NHL stuff recently, but huge trade, and I'm hoping he'll call in here soon. Christopher Sheffield, the chef, is our senior inside reporter for the NHL. Him and I were talking about this a couple of days ago, where we were talking about, excuse me, we're talking about, hey, there's people there. Hey, how you doing? We were talking about Trevor Zegras of the Ducks. We were talking about Pierre-Luc Dubois of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and Tampa Bay with Tyler Johnson, and this big kind of circular thing that was going to happen. We weren't sure who was going to end up where. We knew that Tyler Johnson's contract had to get dumped off of the Tampa Bay books. They were looking to get draft picks. The Ducks were going to send Trevor Zegras somewhere. Pierre-Luc Dubois was going to end up somewhere we thought maybe in Anaheim. As that kind of swirled around, we weren't sure all of the details on that. Draft picks, this and that. So, as the night went on, we kind of followed this a little bit, and then we find out this morning that the Blue Jackets were involved, but so were the Winnipeg Jets. So we're going to go to, we're going to try to get TSN here up, and again, we're trying to get our insider, Christopher Sheffield, on the phone as well. So here's how this all played out now. It was, again, the Ducks were involved initially in talks. Trevor Zegras was involved in talks. He was most likely going to end up in Columbus. That didn't happen. Here's what finally happened or transpired this morning. Pierre-Luc Dubois of the Columbus Blue Jackets did get moved, as did a third-round pick in the 2022 draft coming up. But they didn't go to Anaheim, and Tyler Johnson did not move. Instead, the Winnipeg Jets stepped in, and Jack Roslovic and Patrick Laine have been moved. You Winnipeg Jets fans, if you're upset, I don't blame you. Patrick Laine, a very young, dynamic player in the NHL, now plays for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So here's how the trade works out. The Blue Jackets will get Patrick Laine and Jack Roslovic, the forward. In exchange, going to the Winnipeg Jets is Pierre-Luc Dubois and a 2022 third-round draft pick. Look, over the years, I've taken some of these trades at face value and kind of had a knee-jerk reaction to it. And when I saw, for instance, Winnipeg Jets fans, when I saw Teemu Selanne get moved for what he got moved for, that was a bad deal for you because he became to be an ultra stud, especially in Anaheim. Jets fans, I think you're on the bad end of this again. Pierre-Luc Dubois is a great player, very young, dynamic guy. Patrick Laine was proving himself in Winnipeg, and I thought that they were going to try to start rebounding and rebuilding around Patrick Laine, and that's what it looked like they were doing the last couple of years, and progressing, moving forward, doing quite well, actually, in my opinion. Now you move the mainstay of the team. I'm not sure that that's the right move for the Winnipeg Jets. But I'm going to pull up some numbers here for you guys just so that I'm not completely crazy. Pierre-Luc Dubois, we're going to look at just some stats real quick. You guys can't see what I'm looking. You're just looking at my pretty face. Good thing. PLD, as he's known, 6'2", 205. He's only 22. He's played 1 year in the NHL. 5 games. He had a goal. Very, very touted young player. Very talented. Big kid, again, 6'2", 205 centerman. But Columbus gave him up for Patrick. So what does that say about both sides? Is he good enough to lead your team, and the Jets think that he's better enough to lead that team over Patrick Laine? Did Winnipeg see something in Patrick Laine that had started to decrease, if you will, and said, you know what? Maybe it's he's done. Maybe we gotta move on and get somebody younger. You know, this one, I'm scratching my head, so that's why I really want to see if we can get Christopher Sheffield here. Again, Laine, the right wing, 6'4", 201. He's 22. Don't know. I'm confused here. I really, really am. Let's see if we can go back to his other stats here. Laine, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4th season, 306 games played. He's got 140 goals, 110 assists, 250 points, plus minus of 0 overall. He had a bad year in 2018, 2019, where it's negative 24. But all the other years he's been dialed in. Let me see that we've got somebody beeping in on the Zoom line. Let's see who this is. We're going to admit it. And I think this might be.
It is.
It is the legend. And correct me if I'm wrong. You told me to call you the senior insider on the NHL. Have I got that right?
You're close. You're always close, but close enough, right?
Close enough in hand grenades. That's all I'm saying. So look, we're discussing real quick. You and I talked yesterday about this trade that was kind of going back and forth. And it was involving Tyler Johnson because we knew that he had to dump some contract. It was involving the Ducks and Trevor Zegras. We did not know, as of yesterday, that it was involving the Winnipeg Jets. This morning we got up and everything is signed and done, and they basically switched PLD for Patrick Laine, the draft pick and the other player, ancillary, if you will. But I'm curious on why Patrick. Did Winnipeg close the book on Patrick Laine and say he's done? We need to get another. Look, same age. These guys are almost identical, except for one plays center, one plays right wing.
Basically, what this has done. It's funny. I am in the middle of nowhere once again in Winchester Center, Connecticut. I can't tell if you guys can hear me because the wind has picked up substantially in the last 6 to 7 hours, and it is -1 degrees below zero for the wind chill.
Yes, that's the way we like it.
So I hope you've heard every word. But I did hear the Laine rumblings, and those. It's funny. I don't want to bring another sport into it, but the Yankees are looking at trading Voit, and his value will never be higher. The value could not get any higher for Laine in Winnipeg. It could in Columbus for Pierre-Luc. So for me, this is it turns Columbus into a donut team, no center, and it turns Winnipeg into a helicopter team with no wings. So, although Winnipeg does have an array of talent up front, but, I'm pretty sure they just signed Stastny, and now he's a third-string center. He's your third line.
Well, so who's getting a better deal out of this? Who's getting the better? I don't want to say better player. Who's making out more for this trade to happen? Columbus or the Winnipeg Jets?
I believe Winnipeg. I don't know a center that can get Laine the puck where he needs it in Columbus. There is no replacement of a number one center in Columbus. At the same time, Pierre-Luc Dubois is now playing with Ehlers and Connor and Wheeler up front. They also have another young stud that's on the horizon. But they have Scheifele as well and Paul Stastny. So, to me, I'm looking at it as this is Winnipeg, once again, moving the chips to the front in the middle of the table, saying, we're in. And I don't know what it does for Columbus. It rids them of a headache. And should Winnipeg not re-sign Pierre-Luc Dubois, he'll be on the move again. And I also see Laine just not re-signing with Columbus. He's going to go where the money is, but he's also going to go where he wants to be happy in Winnipeg, and I doubt very much he'll be happy in Columbus.
Can he – this is a tough question, like you said. Can he be happy in Columbus? If the Columbus Blue Jackets do not make a deep run again, what incentive does Patrick Laine have to stay in Columbus?
If he is not, if he's looked at as the savior, he's going to want to be paid as the savior. And if he's not the savior, they're not going to play him like he's the savior. So I know it all boils down to the coach, and I know there's a issue there with a few different players with Torts, but can you really see Laine playing hard for Torts? Because Laine didn't even play hard for Paul Maurice. And that's not a slight on Paul Maurice. I believe that Paul Maurice is the best coach in the Canadian division, easily. Actually, without a doubt. I have a lot of respect for Tippett, and yeah, that's about it.
Well,
Julian too. He's won a cup. So
yeah, Claude Julian.
Still, though, getting back to the original question, Lane, I see Lane. I don't see him in Columbus long term, and you've given up a player. You've given up a player for someone that was not going to resign. So you've got to look at it that way as well. There was no way he was resigning in Columbus, and he was not going to. He wasn't going to be happy there. But the biggest, it's funny. The Ducks could have had him, and I don't know if they just didn't want to give up a lot, or they stalled in the negotiations. But boy, they used Bob Murray again. Like, oh man, I can't even say
look,
on the air. But
this is what I thought.
Brutal.
When this
brutal.
When this trade first,
I'll say, go ahead.
When this trade first popped, that's exactly what I thought. Is you used Anaheim and Bob Murray as a stalking horse.
Yep.
I mean, and
you up the ante.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Look, because we heard Trevor Zegras was in the mix. Tampa still needs to dump some sort of contract in Tyler Johnson, I would think, and that still has to go forward. But I'm not trading Trevor Zegras for Tyler Johnson, so I think Bob Murray was just used to say, hey, let's up the ante and see what we can get for him, and boom, Patrick Laine's name. I never saw that on the horizon last night.
I would have given up Pierre-Luc for the package in Anaheim, easily, without a doubt, without even hesitating. And I would have said something to Tampa. I would have worked something out where picks would have gone to Tampa. Tampa doesn't want players. I know it sounds weird to say, but Tampa doesn't need them.
No.
They're happy where they are. They really haven't lost that much off of their roster. Maybe some depth players that Anaheim might have, but you slide in Pierre-Luc Dubois as a center. Getzlaf is done at the end of the year,
right?
And now you have a studded center that you don't have to worry about, and you can build your team around. They always say in baseball, you build up the middle. You do the same in hockey, and then all of a sudden, you've got Lindholm and Barker and or Fowler rather, they just a little bit better, and it strengthens their D a little bit. But my goodness, I mean, Anaheim are falling asleep at the switch. I mean, come on.
Well, but
I'm not a fan of Bob Murray. I never have been. I never will be. But at the same time, it just reeks of their inept GM sitting in the seat, going all the way back to right after they won the Cup. It's been a long time in Anaheim.
Well, and look, like you mentioned, Getzlaf's done at the end of the year. And I'm surprised he's come back. But why not try to pack? I would never have given up Trevor Zegras, by the way, for that. Never. When you and I first started texting about that yesterday, and I saw Trevor Zegras' name, I said absolutely not. For me, no. He is such a bright young talent. I never would have done that.
Well,
but
I think
again,
I think with Dubois, you're looking at 80 to 100 points. A season with players around him, but I'm also looking at that long term. Do you think Zegras is going to play? He's going to sign a bridge, and he's gone in 5 years. I mean, the problem is that it's the problem with the Ducks is it's the history of the organization. It's the organization just, I don't see a lot of players flocking to play there. I mean, Shattenkirk just for the money, but he's already got a ring. And they, having a number one center to build around is huge. I just don't think that, you got to look at those players that haven't even played in your building yet. Are they going to want to sign here longer term? And the problem that Columbus has, they don't want to sign long term. They got Torts breathing on them. But at the same time, you got to go somewhere, and Anaheim had a had a huge opportunity to grab that. Now, and I know that the young stud is good. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, he's going to need to be happy.
Well, and look, had Patrick Laine's name been proposed, I think it would have been an easier grab to bring in Laine to replace a guy like Getzlaf after next year. I mean, big-bodied centerman, like you said, build down the center. Not a bad replacement for him. But I think the Ducks need more than just centermen. That team needs some more help. And so if you're getting these young kids that are coming through, that you're drafting and building it through that way, continue to build through that way. Don't send those guys off. But like you said, 5-year bridge deal, after 5 years, are those guys going to want to stay in Anaheim if you're still building? Or are they going to want to jump to a team that's getting ready to win one? I mean,
this rebuild in Anaheim has taken 7 years already. I mean, they jumped in a little bit a few years ago with they had the absolute Edmonton gift of a playoff series, but other than that, it hasn't been good times in Anaheim at all. Just a disaster. But that is for a whole other podcast. But you know, I would have liked to seen. You know, the Rangers have already pushed their chips to the table. The players they would have given up have been in the NHL just a little bit. Capocacco was mentioned, but you know, and that's for either one of them, Laine or Pierre-Luc. I always call him Pierre-Marc. Dubois.
Pierre-Marc Bouchard.
But
yeah.
Right. So I know it's, but you know, it's just brutal. It's just, you know, and Barkov is available in Florida. Nobody ever hears of the guy, but the guy's a stud. You know, you hear these rumblings, and you got to also wonder, you know, is this the inmates running the asylum? I mean, you know, it used to be you had to lock the player in until he was age 31, so he's laying down roots for 10 years, almost like Nash. I think he was stuck in that up to 31 years of age.
Yeah.
It is just, I don't know. I could not, in good conscience, turn away certain talent. And I will say this, and I'm probably in the minority. I don't like Laine. I don't think you know, his compete level isn't as heavy or as hard as it should be. You know, he's the prototypical modern NHL player. Don't push me. I'll play when I'm ready. You know, gifted hands. You can't take anything away from him physically, but I just don't see that emotional drive. And you know, I know he's Finnish, and I know Timo had that drive, but these are quickly turning into two different players. I just don't see that drive with him. And it's a shame because he does have the skill, but he disappeared in the playoffs numerous times. And I'm still shocked that Winnipeg will be that strong down the middle, especially after the money they rolled out for Stastny. And I don't know, if I was Columbus and I had a couple of young studs from Anaheim and Tyler Johnson in my lineup, I'd feel a lot better today than I did yesterday. When you look at a trade that Winnipeg and the Ducks were involved with another Finnish player, and this is going back way, way back, if you remember, the Ducks moved a defenseman by the name of Oleg Tverdovsky to the Winnipeg Jets. And at the time, I remember saying, this kid's a stud defenseman. What are you doing? And in return, you got Teemu Selanne, who turned out to be a Hall of Famer. If you didn't know in Winnipeg, he certainly showed us that in Anaheim. I'm wondering now if I'm looking at this trade with the Winnipeg Jets sending another Finnish player away, if he flourishes somewhere else, do the Winnipeg Jets just scratch their head and go, did we miss the boat again on this? Well, I think that Winnipeg, when Winnipeg had Temu, they knew what they had. He was 40 to 50 goals a year, money in the bank, not 76 like the rookie year, but you know that's a career year. And when you look at Tverdovsky, and I think Chad Kilger was in that trade too. Yes, he was. Winnipeg really got taken advantage of. And you're right, having that in the back of their mind, like, hey, we got fleeced before. but we knew that we were giving up a Hall of Famer. Lonnie, I'm not so sure. You know, I know he had an excellent rookie year, and he followed up with a pretty good year the second year, but just too many disappearing acts. And I do think that the players coming back for Columbus, the other player rather, I can't pronounce his name, but he's got 3 or 4 syllables. He's a diamond in the rough, and Columbus needed a young player to break away from the cap for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that Winnipeg just got the better player for now, and they can push them and move them along down the road. Their defense is changing and it's getting stronger, but they kind of sold themselves. And I do like Lowry as well as the fourth line center, just a stud. And you're looking at 4 top centers. And if I were Winnipeg, I'd start to look at trading those centers off for defensemen and forwards, the young centers that they know are not going to be on that club the next couple of years.
Yeah.
I'd groom them and trade them, and this is not the year to do that. But this is the new NHL. So
Christopher Sheffield, the chef, is with us. I've given you so many titles: my senior NHL insider, reporter extraordinaire.
Yep.
I don't know. We throw in a whole bunch of names in there. You are currently not with us in California. Right. You are deep in the freezer of Connecticut. Getting ready for the, I wish I could be there with you, friend, but getting ready for one of the coolest events ever, the Berger Pond Hockey Tournament. Give us just a little update, because we're going to talk some more NHL in just a second.
Well, we have registration open on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It's for adults, youth, both boys and girls. Adults, boys and girls, sled hockey for those that are play the game of sled hockey. And so the other update is the weather. It is flurried every day, just enough for a little bit of a heavy dusting. But the temperature. So right now the temperature is negative. Now that I look at it again, it's -3 degrees wind chill. The wind is absolutely howling. And the snow that I had to shovel early in the week, this morning shoveling reduced it to almost none. So, and it's starting to drift. And the worst thing and the best thing is on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, it is going to snow. And they don't know how much it's going to snow, which means you could get 2 inches or you could get 2 feet. Back in the 70s, if you Google, if you're still allowed to, if you Google Winchester Center, Connecticut snow drifts, this place is legendary because the snow and the mountain feeds off of the fields. It's the perfect storm, they call it. I've seen 30-foot drifts here. I've seen drifts go over houses, and I am fearful of that since I'm in a 1-story house. But it is bitter, bitter, bitter cold here. The fireplace is going, but it is as a dare today. I ran outside and I was working on the pond, and a friend of mine stopped up and he goes, "I bet you won't take off your shirt and run around bare-chested." And I did it, and let me tell you, I regretted it for about an hour. It is brutally cold.
That is some good hockey weather right there, my friend.
The ice is perfect to skate on.
Exactly.
It's it's funny. Gosh, I think it was yesterday or the day before. They were curling on the ice.
Oh,
curling with the stones. Don't you know?
So good.
And I think the kid had a Tim Hortons cup.
Of course he did. Let me ask you this before.
Don't you know?
Let me ask you this before we go, because we're going to cover some UFC, and then hopefully we're going to talk to the owner of the Mountain Lakes Pizza that we're in today. But as we look at things right now, it's early. Okay, we're 4, 5, 6 games in, depending on, who you are, what teams you've played, what COVID stuff you've had going in your club. Are you surprised at all with? Look, I'm not surprised that the Sens are only 1-2-1. I'm not surprised that the Flames and Jets are middle of the road. I'm not surprised that the Leafs are 4-2 to kick this off. I'm not surprised that the Golden Knights are 4-1 to kick this off. I am a little surprised when we look at the Central. Again, I'm skipping around here, but let's start the Central. Lightning and Blue Jackets at the top. Panthers near the bottom. Stars. Now, look, it's only fair. The Stars have only played a game, okay? They've won it, but they're at the bottom right now. The Hurricanes are third right now. Again, super early. Is there any shocks at this point of who's playing well, who's playing not?
I'm a little shocked at Florida. I'm a little shocked at Montreal, and but Montreal they have some young talent, and they're building their team. And I know I slammed on Anaheim a little earlier. Why Anaheim isn't above or at the same level as Montreal, I have no idea. Montreal has rebuilt and rebooted here on the fly. It was not so long ago that they were in the conference finals and making the playoffs and making their push. But it's Montreal has shocked me. There were a couple other clubs that are in the Central that really have taken grasp. I have I have Tampa Bay and Columbus, like you said, Carolina, Nashville making the push. The teams actually, the funniest thing is with hockey is the teams that I knew that would not make the playoffs and had really made that non-playoff feel to their clubs. They're all in the basement. They're all pretty much there. Mm-hmm. The bubble teams, so to speak, and that we'll say bubble teams, and it'll never be the same again. But when you look at the East, I see the Bruins fighting out with Pittsburgh and Jersey. I kind of expected that. Washington, out of all the clubs, has really taken advantage. But it'll be very interesting as they are probably 2 to 3 weeks away of I think they'll sink fairly quickly without the Russians. And it's not like they're out 2 weeks and then they can come back. It's 2 weeks or longer, and they're away from the facility and they're away from the club. And I'd say Washington, Montreal, and I really see Vegas going on a severe run here, and you could look at them almost. I would suspect after the 20 game mark, they are probably roughly 15-5.
Wow.
So,
the other team that is a bit. Yes, the Capitals kicked off 3-0-2 in their first 5. The Philadelphia Flyers, and one of the guys that I've been trying to get on the show, former Flyer goaltender Dominic Roussel. I chatted with him just briefly, and I said, Carter Hart. The Philadelphia Flyers have put all of their stock into Carter Hart. Are you shocked? Because, look, I've followed this kid through junior hockey. This kid is a goaltending stud. He needs to learn a little bit more of the position, but Philadelphia has thrown all of their stock into Carter Hart and say, sink or swim.
Carter Hart, they pretty much groomed him, and they didn't really rush him as much as you would think. He's definitely legit. He's won a few playoff rounds, and I just think that he's the real deal. I'm not surprised with him at all. It's really bizarre when you take a club like the Flyers, that's a very veteran club to a certain degree, and and they rally around a young goaltender, they know that there's some talent there, and the players know it. And when your own team knows it, it can only grow. It can't wilt. I don't see a problem with Carter Hart. They'll have the money to sign him long term. And there's really not much else there in the system either. So it's, but that is I believe that was a Ron Hextall draft.
It was.
It's really bizarre how the former GM lays the foundation and can't stick around. It's you almost want to turn to a general manager and say, look, you sign the deal unless you're the Mets, and it's 5 years. So there's no way around it. It's and that's true in any sport. You got to give somebody 5 years, and it's just he did a great job. I mean, the young players that Hextall brought in are now regulars, and he's long gone.
So let's switch. Christopher Sheffield's with us right now. We've got just a few more minutes here, Chef, before we get off, and we're going to go to UFC stuff here for a second. I have to.
Conor McGregor tonight, right?
It's Conor McGregor time in about an hour and 15 minutes or so. I have to ask you a question because when I read the story, I kind of just lowered my head and shook and was like, this is classic New York Mets.
Yep.
The GM of the Mets was fired.
Yep.
The GM of the Mets was fired not because he was doing a bad job, per se.
Right.
The New York Mets fired the GM because he continued to text and send, let's just say, to be fair to my FCC friends, inappropriate photos of himself to a lady reporter. Now, this happens in 2016 when he's a member of the Chicago Cubs. It is now 2021. You're now the GM of the Mets. Where did the Mets drop the ball here? Did you not look? Did you not know?
I'll tell you, here's the problem I have with the whole thing. So I don't blame Sandy Alderson. He's not in touch with the modern times, but he's definitely not out of touch. Steve Cohen is in the same boat. And when you have a GM or you have a candidate and he has worked for other organizations in Major League Baseball and they don't know about this, that's one thing. But the Cubs knew about this guy. They knew about these text messages, and they didn't say anything, and they didn't warn anything. And first of all, and I want to say this as well, and I should have started with this. There's no defense of what happened. I think everybody would agree on it.
Agreed.
The second thing is, though, it's got to be right on the Cubs' doorstep. I'm sorry. This happens. You either come out and say, "Look, we had an employee that was inappropriate. We're sending him for counseling immediately because we don't want this to ever happen again, and we want the world to know that we're sending him for counseling because we treasure him as a professional, but we don't treasure him as a person right now, and we want to get him help." If you have a drug addict or an alcoholic or any sort of addiction, now more than any other time, you go and get the man help. But when it bleeds this long and it festers this long, somewhere you got to chop the head off the snake, and he'll go to rehab. He will go and resurrect his career into. I mean, he has the talent, 9 to 5 talent, I call it, to do the job, but he's got to get some help.
But look,
I hope he gets some help because for this to happen again in his life would not be productive.
No,
I'll say that right off the bat.
No. But look, let's ask this for a second. The Cubs knew. You're filling out. You and I have done this before. You fill out an application.
Yep.
You put on your here's my previous employer. And there's a box, Chef. You and I both know this. There's a box at the bottom of each one of those that says, "Hey, can we contact your former employer?" I'm guessing he checked no. I mean,
but that's where it falls on the baseball fraternity, where Jeb Hoyer, Theo Epstein, I think they were all there at the time.
Yes.
Theo
was for sure.
And you know what the problem is? I'll tell you what the problem is that Theo left the Cubs in the last few months. So did Theo know about this and want to dodge the issue? Or did Theo all of a sudden find out about this? Because I would believe Theo. But it's a huge, huge problem. I mean, Porter didn't do himself any favors. What he should have done and what he did do is obviously two different things. But this is where it falls on the Cubs, where you go and get the man help. Somewhat the Diamondbacks for not doing their due diligence and possibly finding this out, and a little bit on the Mets for them not doing their due diligence. But why it took this, and here's the other thing. I've read articles where people, men and women, have said, "Look, you sent somebody 62 text messages and nothing has responded. You should have gotten the hint." And did he get the hint?
If I send you 62 text messages, are you going to... If you don't answer me after 62 text messages, I think I'm going to give up.
And I believe the woman when she said, "We met once in an elevator at Yankee Stadium for 12 seconds. If somebody makes that much of an impression on you after 12 seconds, you need to be running for emperor because you will win. And you will have people bowing down. Can you imagine if she had a TV show for an hour?
Right.
I mean, my goodness. Everybody, this is not funny, but everybody says, love at first sight or whatever. But my goodness, this woman made a 12-second impression on you. And, that is a sickness. That is something is controlling you, and you need to go get help.
Yeah.
And there is help.
Yeah.
And why the Cubs did not go get this gentleman help.
That's shocking.
That is criminal.
That's shocking.
And it's as criminal as the act itself. And I'm not excusing the act. It is just, oof.
So,
my goodness.
Let me drop this on you, because we're going to get ready to switch gears, and I'm going to have somebody else on that is selling, ready?
Sure.
Girl Scout cookies. Terrible thing.
I'm here. You skipped out of me there.
Wait, say that again?
You skipped out on me. I didn't hear you there.
I said we're going to have somebody on in just a few minutes. I'm sending her the link right now to how to promote the selling of Girl Scout cookies. Yeah.
Oh.
No joke.
I'd like some keto or carb-free cookies. That's what I'd like.
Carb? No. There's no carb-free cookie. I mean, yes, there is, but what's the point, dude? Seriously?
I don't know. When you sit down and mow down a box, there's no restraint. That's the problem. There's no restraint. But I am in the land of Big Y ice cream, which has the best black raspberry ice cream in the world, and I'm also near Peaches and Cream, which is the best homemade ice cream I've had in Connecticut. So I've had a steady diet of that the last few weeks. But getting back to the Girl Scout cookies, the tag-alongs and the
Thin Mints.
The peanut butter ones. I can't remember how they call them. But the ones I hate that need to stop being made are the coconut chocolate striped.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
No one's eating those.
No.
Now, I had a friend of mine in college, took the peanut butter ones, took 3 scoops of ice cream and a half a cup of milk, a handful of ice, threw it in a blender, and that was his shake.
Hey.
He called it the Girl Scout shake. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'll be doing that.
I'm telling you, there's no There's no messing around in Chef's Kitchen. None.
Let's see.
Substitutes in a blender, it's going.
Berger Pond Hockey, not this weekend. It is next weekend, and then you will be coming back to California because you and I are working on something a little different. As you know, as all my listeners know, we've been doing a couple of pizza reviews here and there, not to go up against, not to make fun of, but to help support Dave Portnoy and the Barstool Sports guys because we love them so much. I say this in every video. I want to be Dave Portnoy when I grow up. So we've done this a couple of times. Yep. People love them. However, when you get back, and we're back together three-dimensionally here, we are going to be looking. I'm going to let somebody in the Zoom call real quick. We are going to be looking to do, hold on one second, admit, and she's going to join me. So I'm going to tell her to hang on real quick there. Aaron, hang on one second. We're going to get to you in just a second. You and I are going to do wings. And that's that's all I can say right now. But you and I are going to do some wing stuff. It's going to be amazing. That's all I can tell you right now.
I got Conor McGregor. I can't wait to do the wings. I've got Conor McGregor winning tonight, and I hope Conor McGregor wins, and I want to see him fight The Rock.
I have Conor McGregor winning. I wanted to see him fight the kid from YouTube. Paul, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, one of those guys. I would love to see Conor McGregor just tear that kid in half, but whatever. Christopher Sheffield.
But you know who I want to see do the play-by-play? I want to see Al Michaels with Jesse the Body Ventura with the pink cobra ready, the boa rather, just telling Al Michaels what's up. That's what I want to see. I want to see that. I'll take the YouTube kid over The Rock, but I got to see Jesse the Body and Al Michaels before I die.
You and I need to do some promotion, my friend. Christopher Sheffield, the chef, has been with us. Dude, thank you very much. We're going to catch you next week, hopefully, and do a quick spot so we can see what you're doing, and then we'll catch you. You can see him on our website, TSEshow.com. He writes the blogs for us in Chef's Kitchen, everything like that. But you're busy this week. Go have a great time, my friend. We'll see you when you're back in Cali.
Thank you. I'll see you in a couple of weeks, boys.
Thanks,
have a good one.
Okay, so now we're going to move for a second here. And can I unmute her? I have to ask her to unmute. Okay. As promised, it's a little later than what I thought. But on the phone with me is a very good friend of ours, friend of the program. Hopefully she will listen now to the program religiously, is my guess, my hope. Aaron Sullivan is on the phone.
Absolutely.
Aaron Sullivan is on the phone with me right now. Aaron, here's why. Aaron, aside from being a real estate mogul, we'll call it a mogul. I don't know what that means. She buys houses for you. She sells houses for you. She can get you rental. She does everything. And by the way, before you ask, I know you're going to say, hey, I have a real estate agent. Yeah, but that person sucks. I guarantee you. Aaron, on the other hand, is phenomenal. So Aaron Sullivan, thank you so much for joining us today for a few minutes and getting people to know you, but here's the other reason you're on, and you know why, right?
Yes.
Your daughter is a
Girl Scout troop.
Which means
she's in a Girl Scout troop.
Which means every year, right about this time of year, we have the best time of year. Not because you get to enjoy me and the show and sports and stuff like that, but the Girl Scouts have cornered the market on something that is a gold mine. Your daughter is selling Girl Scout cookies. Now, again, I know people are like, hey, I have daughters that are selling it too. That's good, buy them. But if you want boxes and boxes and boxes of Girl Scout cookies, Aaron, can we have people contact us or contact you to buy Girl Scout cookies?
Yes, absolutely. That would be great.
Oh, okay. So is there a phone number that we should use? Is there an email? How should we get our listeners to you? The listeners can always email us here at fans, F-A-N-S, at thetseShow.com. That's where you guys always hit us up. Is there somewhere else they can get to you to say, hey, Aaron, load me up with like 40 cases of cookies?
Yeah, definitely. My email address is Erin, E-R-I-N, ocrealestate@gmail.com. And then my phone number, which is good if you want to call or text. People do both, 714-675-1942.
She is on Facebook as well.
Yes.
Aaron Sullivan Homes, I think is what it is.
Aaron Sullivan Homes, Reliance Real Estate.
There you go.
Yeah,
So-
you can message there too. I'm always on there. There are one cookie that is the final season for. It's the s'mores one, so get them while you can.
Okay,
And then they
is that the
have
one?
a new one.
Is the s'more? I hate to interrupt you. Is the s'mores one the one? Because we were just talking about cookies with my last guest, Christopher Sheffield. There is the s'mores one, the little round one that's got the coconut and then the chocolate stripes on it. Is that the s'mores one?
No, they have those still. Those are the caramel delights. They just renamed them from the Samoas.
Gotcha.
But the s'mores one is graham cookie dipped in cream icing and coated in fudge. And this is the last year they're doing it. And then they came out with a new one, which is the Toast Yay, which is a French toast inspired cookie dipped in icing.
So it tastes like French toast dipped in like white icing, like that.
Yep, that's just it, dipped in icing. And then they have a gluten-free option too, which is caramel chocolate chip, and those are really good too.
Do you have a carb-free? Some of my listeners were asking, "Hey, is there a carb-free cookie?" And I'm like, "Well, what's the point?" But I'll ask. Why not?
Not with the Girl Scouts to date, but
Okay.
hopefully they do come out with them. I'd love that too.
No. Look, if you're gonna eat a cookie, and here's the problem, and I'm sure you have some of your customers that will say this too. Here's my problem. I'm going to buy a cookie from you, a box of cookies. They're most likely going to be Thin Mints, okay? Here's my problem. I'm going to buy said box, but in about 20 minutes, the box will be gone. There's the issue. There's the issue I have. I can't just sit and eat like 2 of those cookies. You'll start watching your favorite program or your favorite sports. Buy a couple tonight and watch the UFC fight. See how many boxes of cookies are left over after the Conor McGregor fight. Probably not many.
Yeah. Nope. That's going to be a good fight too, by the way.
Okay, so
can't wait to see that.
I have to ask you then, because you're on a sports show, and I'm pumping cookies and I'm pumping real estate, but I got to ask you, who's going to win the Conor McGregor fight?
McGregor all the way.
Ooh. Now he did say in a press conference, we're gonna cover something real quick before we get off the air. He said at a press conference, inside of 60 seconds.
I don't know if it'll be that, but I think he's definitely going to win it. Like,
Awesome.
we have a lot of Irish pride over here, so
Tell-
he's going to win it for sure.
Your name is Sullivan, of course there is.
I called that one. Yep, it's going to be Ireland. Takes it.
Tell us again, real quick, an email and a phone number, and then tell us how many different cookies you have, and what are they per box?
All of them are $5 a box, except for the gluten-free ones, which are $6. The gluten-free is the caramel chocolate chip. And then the ones that are $5 a box are the peanut butter sandwich, the caramel delights, which is formerly the Samoas. Same thing, they just changed the name. Peanut butter patties, Thin Mints, shortbread, lemonades, and the Girl Scout s'mores. And those are the last ones for this year. And then the new one, the Toast Yay, which is the French toast one dipped in that wonderful icing.
I've heard, by the way, real quick, before you give me the numbers, I've heard that you can buy boxes like that, like 4 or 5 or 6 boxes, and freeze them for later.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. In theory, to eat them later, but sometimes they just magically disappear. Like,
How does that happen?
they're that good.
All right.
My email is Erin, ERIN, OCRealestate @gmail.com. And then my phone number is 714-675-1942. And then I am on Facebook, Aaron Sullivan, and then Aaron Sullivan Homes, Reliance Real Estate.
And we're gonna.
I just want to tell you, Ray, thank you so much for the shout out. We really appreciate it.
Look, we try to help out people all the time, and especially when it's stuff near and dear to me, like the cookies are, obviously. But here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put all that information up on our website, the TSEshow.com. If you message me before we're off the air, which is like 2 minutes, or if you send us an email at fans, FANS, at the TSEshow.com, and you just put in the message, I love Girl Scout cookies, the TSE Show will pay for your first box of cookies. But you got to go to Aaron and buy more than one of that. Okay? So if you're buying 2, the TSE is picking up the first one. So there you go.
Oh, that's so awesome of you. Thank you.
You got it. Aaron, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. We'll talk soon, okay?
Thank you. You too.
You got it.
Okay, bye.
All right, so that is Aaron Sullivan. Thank you so much for Aaron Sullivan. Look, we've had an amazing show here today. We're going to stay here for a little bit because we're going to talk to somebody else possibly, and it might be after the 4 o'clock, but we're going to stay just a touch to do that. So we may come back on the air in just a second if we do. But until then, look, here's my 2 cents on Conor McGregor. And I mentioned this on my sports reports yesterday. I mentioned this on our show on Thursday. Here's the difference in what Conor McGregor is doing right now versus some of his other fights. He said in his press conference, I'm going to finish this fight inside of 60 seconds. I think I believe him. Here's why. Normally, you guys know, if you've seen any other Conor McGregor fight at all, you know what we expect out of a press conference. He's very flashy. He walks in. He apologizes to absolutely nobody. It's amazing. It's fun. Conor McGregor was very calm, very, I don't want to say subdued. He was very within himself. And he's just like, look, it's a good competitor over there. We're going to do this, but I'm going to finish this fight in 60 seconds. And it wasn't a thing to get people talking about it. He was dead serious about it. Dead serious about it. I think Conor McGregor is absolutely dialed in. The last fight he fought was Cowboy Cerrone last year. It's the only fight in the year that he did. I think he finished in 42 seconds, I want to say, something to that effect. This fight's not going to last long. I know you're paying $70 for it. Everybody is because it's Conor McGregor. I'm going to tell you right now, this fight's not going to last that long because he is that dialed in. Conor McGregor might be back and back in full effect. Now, he's not going to be that big swagger, white coat, fur coat kind of guy, Joe Namath style kind of thing right now. For him to come in, dressed very well, sit, give the praise he needs to give, be very collected by himself, that scares me more than McGregor coming in with the white fur coat and the flamboyance. It does, because that means my man is ready to go. He's ready to throw. I'm telling you right now, Dustin Poirier is a great fighter. Great fighter. He's in trouble, in my opinion. Just saying. We're going to be back right here at Mountain Mike's Pizza, Fountain Valley, California, tomorrow from noon to 1:30 tomorrow. We're going to get you set. I think the kickoff for Packers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers is 12:05, so we're going to be on the air just before that. We'll kind of do some broadcasting, and we'll watch the game with you guys. I cannot broadcast the game, but I can kind of give you updates and stuff like that. So if you're watching at home, I'll be along with you. We'll watch it together. So kind of a watch party for the first hour and a half. We'll talk some other sports as well. But we'll go through that, and we'll find out. I was 4 of 5. No, what was I? 3 of 4. Sorry, for the divisional rounds. I have picked Green Bay. I have picked Buffalo. There's your Super Bowl in 2 weeks, if it happens, but we'll find out tomorrow on how all that goes. Stay tuned because we may be back with a special guest, and we'll come right back on. But until then, enjoy UFC 257, you guys. Come down and get your pizza. Free cheese sticks if you order any large pizza. We'll see you soon. Be good humans. Go McGregor.